Hey everyone, welcome to Reasons for Roots. My name's Lauren and I'm a homeschool mom to 4 kids. And I'll have to admit, I have a curriculum problem. I don't know if you do, but I do. I love books, I love holding them in my hand, I love looking at different things. And so I try a lot of different curriculum. If it doesn't work, I'm very quick to set it aside. Or send it back or whatever needs to be done. I don't like being married to a curriculum, but I do love it when I find something that works for us. And I have learned that is just it's almost like a relief when you find the perfect curriculum for you that fits your family. When you find the curriculum, you know what I mean? So I have found several curriculums over the last few years that are the curriculum for us and that we use on a daily basis. But this past school year, we used a lot of new curriculum. And so I wanted to show you my top 5 favorites that we used this past school year that really helped us in our homeschool journey. So I said 5, but as I was gathering my supplies, I remembered one more. So make that 6 of my favorite curriculum from last year. So I'll start with my youngest kid. He is 5. And for my 5-year-old, we used More Before 5 in a Row. This is a relatively new curriculum to 5 in a Row. If you're not familiar with 5 in a Row, it is a unit study approach, literature-based approach. So what it is you they assign you a picture book. You use that picture book and you will read it for 5 days in a row. And every day you will pull out new concepts from science, grammar, geography, art. All of the subjects are covered in that literature book. So with the teacher's guide, they lay it all out for you. They walk you through. Now, they give you several choices to choose from, and you get to choose which ones you teach your children for that week. Okay? We really enjoyed this. My 5-year-old, him having autism, he really enjoyed going through the book for 5 days in a row. He loved the repetitiveness of 5 in a row. And I loved it too. I enjoyed our time together with More Before 5 in a Row. So this is a fun curriculum. It's preschool aged, and they have curriculum all the way from pre-K all the way up to like 10 or 12. So check out 5 in a Row if that sounds interesting to you, because it was a phenomenal fit for us and we really, really enjoyed it. So moving on to my 5th grader. So for my 5th grader, we used a lot of the same things we had used the previous year, but one thing we added in was Union Gospel Press's Illuminate Bible series for her Bible curriculum. Now she was in 5th grade, and this was one of my favorite Bible curriculums we've used. This was something I bought at convention that I had not originally planned on using, but I'm so glad that I went ahead and purchased this. I bought volume 2. Volume 2 was all about our faithful God. And so for the entire year, we got to see how God was faithful to his servants and to his people throughout the Bible. So how it works is you have a 5-day week unit. So what they did was they broke it down into units. And like unit 1 was faithful to Abraham, that God was faithful to Abraham. So for 4 weeks, you would cover Abraham's story. And what I liked about it was it didn't just throw the story down your throat and move on. It really took time and stayed on one story for an entire week. So like the first week we were on Abraham is called by God. And so they would take different aspects of Abraham's calling and they would break it down and they would show how God was faithful to Abraham in his calling. I love all the beautiful artwork. They gave some really neat maps. They have, there's always a Christ focus and a prayer focus. And so this would go on for 5 days. We only used it for 4 because day 5 is a review. So I just threw day 5 in with day 4. And then she would have her own notebook. So she would have a notebook. This is the teacher's guide. She would have a notebook and she would answer some questions. They gave art projects if you wanted to do that, memorization work if you wanted to do that. It was just an all-around solid curriculum. I plan on using it. I think I'm going to use it in our morning time next year for her and my high schoolers because they have a 7th through 12th guide. And so like this guide is for 1st through 6th. So you can group all your little kids together and do this. And then they would have their own individual notebooks for their age groups. So I really liked the Illuminate Bible curriculum. That is something that worked really well for us. Okay, now moving on to high school. For high school, one of my favorite things that my 9th grader did was the Art of Argument. This is printed by Classical Academic Press, and it's the first time I've ever used any of their curriculum. We really enjoy going through this. I gave him half a credit for logic for going through this program. We did this every other day. And really, it's an introduction to informal fallacies. So we just talked about fallacies, and we would even like throughout our day or when we were out, I would find him, pointing out fallacies in commercials or in conversations or in, just in speeches. So this was something that really stuck with him. It's something that we both enjoyed, and I would recommend this for a logic curriculum any day. It was great, and I think it was one of his favorite subjects and one of my favorites that he did this year. Okay, and for my last one, this is probably my favorite thing we used. This was it is Educate for Life. Educate for Life is an online apologetics program. It is for high schoolers or even grown-ups. It has tests or quizzes, notes, and then it's video driven. I found this at Teach Them Diligently. The author or creator actually speaks at those conferences, and I found it there last year when I attended conference, and I'm so glad I did because I have used this for both of my high schoolers for an apologetics credit. Now with Educate for Life, it is a monthly subscription. I do believe they're adding in things for younger children as well. I haven't really looked lately, so that might already be on their website. But I know it's something that they are planning to do is add things for younger kids as well. But for my high schoolers, this was a great curriculum because it was something that they could watch and then we could discuss. There's notes, there's quizzes, there's some great information. I cannot recommend Educate for Life enough. It is one of my favorite curriculums that we've used in our homeschool. So if you are interested in having your child, your teenager, learn some apologetics, please check out Educate for Life. You will love it. And 2 of my favorite curriculums that I don't have to show you, I just get to tell you about my experience, is Biblioplan and Heart of Dakota. So it's that time of year where I get to sell all my curriculum. So I've already sold my Biblioplan and my Heart of Dakota, so I don't have it to show you. But I do have my experience to share with you that we totally loved Biblioplan. Biblioplan is a history curriculum. It is more classical / Charlotte Mason inspired. We bought the Family Guide, which is a indispensable resource. Like, it was so helpful. I've never seen such a great guide laid out like Biblioplan's Family Guide. So their Family Guide, we used them for geography. We also used them, their cool history questions for my 5th grader as well as my 10th grader or 9th grader. We did the volume 2 medieval times, and we enjoyed it so much. There was a lot of church history involved. It has been one of my favorite textbook curriculums that I've used. And so I've done a review on it, and so I'll try to remember to link that review down, but it was pretty recent, so make sure you check out my review of Biblioplan, so then I can really break it down for you and tell you exactly why I loved it. But it is a phenomenal program, and we loved it. Now, for Heart of Dakota, I fell in love with. As soon as I found it, I knew that it was going to be a perfect fit for us, and it was a perfect fit for us. We had to tweak it a little just because the program itself is great, but not every book that they suggested we liked. And that's just part of, being an individual. So we didn't like it, so we tweaked it just a little bit. But Heart of Dakota overall was a phenomenal program as well. And we loved the Charlotte Mason approach, the notebooking pages for Resurrection to Reformation was wonderful. I loved the notebooking pages, and I have stashed them away neatly and carefully so that I can, kind of like a keepsake, so I can look back on them and remember our time in Heart of Dakota, Resurrection to Reformation Guide. My daughter loved the history projects. She loved the church history books that they scheduled. It was just a really great program. It's a great program if you want your children to be more independent. It's a great program if you're wanting a Christ-centered curriculum. So overall, we were thrilled with Heart of Dakota, Biblioplan, 5 in a row, The Art of Arguments, Educate for Life, and Illuminate Bible Series by Union Gospel Press. So those were my 6 favorite curriculums we used this year.